All right, friends, here we go. Late Christmas evening. Let's see what we got. We got overriding sentiment to the upside on the XMas. VMAX give me a downward. Well, it's actually giving me a sideways market read, and then obviously the LMAX is really giving me nothing other than I got here just now. So I missed all of this. That's okay. I'm not looking for a whole bunch. There we go. All right. Let's see if we get a buy signal, right? Listen, we're about a minute and a half in. A little bit of price action to the downside. And maybe we're shooting here for this VWAP deviation. VWAP's down here. We're getting a lot more traction at this price point. A7, 857. Right at 88.9, 89.15. There's that potential upside on the VMAX. Getting ready to watch for a trade. All right. So as far as the facial recognition, the facial paralysis, right? I'm getting a lot of stimulation in this side of my face last couple of days. So it's really weird. There we go. Now replay that, and just know that when we were still over here on this candle, I called this right here, right? Because the VMAX. So if you want to know ahead of time what the market's going to do, you need to understand the VMAX. That's the foundation of the SMAX and the LMAX. Okay, I'll probably repeat this in every single video in case you don't watch all the videos. 3 years I've been trading with the VMAX. It takes a little bit of understanding. So then I was like, you know what? Let me get this simpler. So we created with the help of AI, created the SMAX. Then I was like, well, the SMAX doesn't tell me what the VMAX can tell me because I understand how to use it. So we created the LMAX because I wanted something that was a little better getting in front of the market. And so we have the LMAX, right? Now the VMAX is the creme de la creme, right? But you have to be serious about this. Serious enough that you're going to invest in yourself, make it worth my time to teach you, and that's where mentoring comes in. So in the meantime, between time, we'll just use the simplicity of color matching, right? You get a blue override, you get a blue triangle, you buy. At least, maybe you don't do that, but that's how the system works. Let's see. Worked that way pretty well over here, right? And then we got some price action. We missed some of that. Now listen. I might have ignored this particular buy signal. Why? Because the Heikinashi had a wick to the bottom on the candle prior. So that gave me indication that this was not going to be too strong. Okay. Now, did it go up? Yeah, it was a decent scalp. And I love to scalp. Why do I love to scalp? Because over the years, I have learned that it's easier on my psyche to get in and out of the market with as much quickness as possible. Maybe you want to hold longer. Maybe you don't want to come to the charts 3 times or 5 times in a day. Maybe you only want to come once. Okay, then maybe you gotta wait for that move, and you gotta hold it. You gotta nurture. You gotta milk that trade. That's fine. This will allow you to do that. I wouldn't recommend doing it on a 30-second time frame. You might want to up your time frame so you can see those longer moves, and just know that they're going to oscillate with inside that candle. That's okay. Now we've been here 6 minutes and 35 seconds, and I remember I called it over here. I said, the VMAX is telling me we're going to go into a sideways market. Well, guess what? We're in a sideways market. Well, now we're probably getting ready to take a move to the upside. So because of that, I will go ahead and stick around. If I had any indication, or if I get an indication from the VMAX that we're staying in the sideways move. I'm going to cut this video off. I'll edit it later. Oh yeah, look at that, look at that. So more sideways. Why do I say sideways? Well, here you go. This point was equal to that point there. That was, not higher, not lower. This point higher, this point higher. So that's the upside move, right? But then this point was lower than that last one. So that's a downside. Now this one was lower. Now here we go lower, but we're still in a upward trajectory. So that's where we got that little wick. Now that's still pulling to the downside. Now we're up higher. Let's see what we get here. I really would like to make a trade. However, if the opportunity doesn't show up, there it is. But that candle right before had a wick to the bottom, right? Scalp, we're going to take a scalp. We know it's going to be brief. There it is, 13 ticks, 12 ticks, minus 24 ticks, up 2 ticks. Tech position, up 12, minus 10. Now, as soon as I get opportunity, I'll probably jump in and take that minus 10. There, I got my minus 10. No, minus 10, so I didn't get minus 10. I got 10 ticks. That's it. I'm out. 10 ticks just like that. Now, if I do that, minus my costs, that 10 ticks made me $100, right? Minus my costs, maybe I was up 70. I do that 10 times. I do it 5 times a day. I'm at 350. But I won't do it 5 times a day. Probably I'll do it 2 times. And then 1 time I'll get a bigger hit, Either way, no matter how it works, remember, we're trying to address paying off the MCA. We're trying to address that daily cash withdrawal that you already agreed to. You already owe that money, so we're trying to give you a secondary way of gaining it back instead of taking it out of your cash register. And then you're going to keep doing this, and you're going to build your war chest, right? So you don't have to take you don't have to renew. That's our strategy. That's why we're here, and that's what we're gonna whittle away at that. We're not buying Ferraris and Lamborghinis here. Look at that. See that went against us, so we were better off taking that. Now let's see if all right, look, our regime is changing. Our regime here is changing, but we're lowering here. So how far will this go? Here's the thing is, remember, this is this magnet right here. This magnet here and that magnet there. Still going to draw us down there, right? I try to make these videos show you a win and then teach you how the system works at the same time. Now, the market does what the market's going to do. So it's it's real hard to script out because it's impossible to script, right? So I'll just speak on what's happening, and hopefully when you get involved, when you enroll, you'll remember some of this, and you'll decide to use this to supplement the training that we give you. Let's see here. Okay. More than likely we're getting ready to hack off the VMAX into another buy. There's a blue candle after I said buy, right? That's how strong the VMAX is. That's how strong the sentiment-based trading is. I feel like somebody's giving me like 100 Novocaine shots in this cheek over here. Well, here we go. Sentiment regime definitely changing to the downside. Gaining strength. Now we're going to need those sells. We're going to need the sell arrow. I'd like to grab another little trade. Now that sell side is probably going to be a little stronger, right? A little more impetus. Kind of the reason I'm sticking around. I know what that's doing there. Look at that. More likely a breakout. I believe that was some user error. Yeah, I picked up I'm pretty sure I'll see in the, I took my stop loss and I drew it up as my take profit. But you know what? That's okay. There we go. There, now we're back where we were. That's at least we got that back, right? All right, that position right there, we picked up 1,060. We lost 380 on that mistake. We made 100, so 1,160 minus 380. So in about 17 minutes and 7 seconds, we made over $900. Somewhere on our page, getvmax.com or themarginverse.com, if you want our funding, there's a way for you to get signed up.